Spacey, Sims, and we are back with more Hakuoki Ito Blossoms in Harada's route. And we're just starting chapter 3, so yeah. After suffering our defeat at the hands of the Imperial Army and the Furies, we returned to Ito. All of us who'd arrived at the mansion were tensely awaiting Kondo's imminent return. However... Captain Harada, when will the chief return? Please don't tell me he's going to abandon us and submit a surrender to the Imperial Army. How did he not get back before us? Well, when you become chief, there's a lot of heads to look after. From recruitment to strategizing in the war room, Kondo's quite the busy man. Harada was quick to assure the panicking warrior, as if he had rehearsed this speech, but...
Think about it, though. All this is his fault. He started a war he can't win. He was all Mr. Big Shot Daimyo, barking out orders left and right. Well, I got news for him. We aren't his pawns in this little game of his.
Oh, they're gonna leave. This is sad. Nagakora's angry diatribe made Harada furrow his brow in worry. Once more, Harada turned to face his men. Hey, mind heading to a nearby shop and grabbing me a bottle of sake? I'm sure you don't have much to do now, yeah?
Yes, sir.
The warrior sprinted out of the room, and Harada quietly turned back to face Nagakora. Hey, Shinpachi, that shit you were saying just now was out of line. If the captains start turning on him, then Kondo won't have any credibility in front of his men. That's only going to confuse the younger guys.
Hey, I haven't said anything that isn't true. Because of his command, we lost a lot of men back there, didn't we?
But I guess that can't be helped. Things are a lot different this time round. Unlike how the Ikeda Inn incident and Hamaguri Rebellion went. Hamaguri Rebellion? The incident wherein the forces of the Choshu domain fought the Shogunate and the Shinsengumi near Hamaguri Gate to regain power in the government after they were expelled. Kondo's still a little wet behind the ears, too, and leading against the Imperial Army. I don't think either of us, nor anyone here, could do much better on their first try. Besides, I'm sure Kondo's all torn up about what happened back there, too. And that's why he's running around with his head off finding new recruits.
What I'm saying is that's the wrong move. If they're no good with a sword or a gun, then we're just packing bodies into the front line. Even if you roped in every able-bodied man in sight, they might just run at the first sign of trouble.
Half of them did. Well, I can't argue too much with that. Maybe Kondo thinks that marching around with a bigger army will intimidate the enemies into thinking we aren't there to mess around. Harada's defense of Kondo was thinning, and Nagakora continued to vent his frustrations in front of their men. I hadn't gathered the impression that Nagakora was rinsing his hands of the Shinsengumi altogether, but rather, it was because of his loyal commitment to the Shinsengumi that he became so critical.
Look, it's not like I'm looking for reasons to slate the guy. Kondo's just changed his strategy, even a little bit, or maybe pulled that stick from his ass, then maybe things would be different, but...
Nagakora's tirade continued, to which Harada watched from the side. I think he's on his last leg. It felt wrong of me to speak out of turn, but all of their concerns, while understandable, were altogether foreign to me. After some time had passed...
I must say, it's been quite some time since I've been here. Should I say, I'm home? Or would that be a little too forward? Perhaps hello should do.
It was the first time that either Kondo or Hijikata had shown their faces around our compounds. As soon as Nagakora caught sight of Kondo, he marched up towards him with a puffed chest. Oh dear God.
Kondo, I need to speak with you, immediately. You got a minute? Why are you speaking so frankly with me? I want to talk, just us, no bullshit. I want to really lay everything out there. Hijikata, I'm going to borrow this room here for a moment.
Hijikata let out a dejected sigh.
Today's the day, huh? I had a feeling it happens sooner or later.
Yeah. I mean, Kondo and Shinpachi are completely at odds with each other. One's got plans for this, the other's got plans for that.
I've already spoke with Kondo to probe for any chance of compromise.
What did Kondo say?
He's planning to outfit our men with the latest and greatest so that everyone's got fancy armor to pair with his fancy new name. The Shinsegumi's no longer just a band of Ronin, and now we're esteemed Bakushin.
Or so Kondo hopes. Well, when you put it that way, compromise doesn't look likely. Harada's shoulders slumped, and he tilted his head towards the ceiling in contemplation. After giving it a moment of thought, he turned once more to ask Hijikata a question. This is interesting, because in all the other ones, they both leave. So is he not going to leave with Nagakura? Makes me confused. So, what's your take on all this, Hijikata? What's next? The Imperial Army's got us completely beaten as far as weaponry is concerned. Our outdated rifles might as well be slingshots against their men, and none of those old domain leaders have any more desire to put up a fight. All the momentum's with the Imperials right now, and you know better than most that there's little chance of bouncing back from that. And you must have realized this, haven't you? Hijikata deeply furrowed his brow in worry, pursing his lips as he considered Harada's cynical position. His eyes thinned for a moment before he spoke. You're saying that it's a done deal. Oh, really? Mind telling me what I don't know? Hijikata went silent. He seemed reluctant to take Harada's bait, either unwilling to open his argument up to scrutiny, or more likely afraid to admit he had none at all. Hijikata's eyes shifted nervously, and Harada looked concerned as he guessed what Hijikata was thinking. Please don't tell me you're planning on using the Fury Core, aren't you? I could have cut through the tension with a knife. Awkward silence hovered in the air until... Well, times have changed. The age of the sword is over. It's the age of the rifle now. That doesn't rule out Furies, though. I still might have something to prove in this fight. Kodo said that he's created Furies capable of fighting in direct sunlight now, right? When Hijikata mentioned the Furies, I jumped. My heart pounded relentlessly in my chest. If this is your idea of a sick joke, then quit it. And there's no way you're that cruel. Like you said, since there's so little chance of bouncing back from this, we've got to do whatever it takes. In order to ensure victory for Kondo. No, the Shinsengumi. I don't really have the luxury of choice right now. Hijikata was speaking very directly, but even I could tell that he hadn't taken this position lightly at all. Harada offered no immediate response, perhaps also recognizing the challenge Hijikata was facing. Harada kept his pale gaze fixed at his feet until he looked back into Hijikata's eyes once more. Look, I get where you're coming from, but where exactly is this new Fury army supposed to come from? Do you expect Kondo to join us? And that's never gonna happen. Did I say Kondo or Kodo? I meant Kodo. I don't know if I read that wrong. I don't know. Kodo's not all we've got. As I wondered whom Hijikata had been referencing to, he turned his cold gaze over at me. His eyes were like sharp daggers, digging into my soul with an inspecting glance. Does this mean he wants... Whoa, wait a minute! You're telling me you plan on using her? You should know me by now. I'll drag myself through hell and back if it means victory for the Shinsengumi. I felt myself shiver as his chilling words came to light. Wow, Hijikata! You lost some points. I can't... Wow, that's cruel. That's cruel. No, he couldn't. I stared back at Hijikata in desperation, but he was unmoved. There was no emotion, nor doubt in his voice. In the past, Hijikata had gone out of his way to protect me from Sanen's nefarious plans. Right? Even in, like, every other path, he's like, no, you don't fucking touch her. But, like, and now all of a sudden he's like, I'm gonna use you. Hijikata, what the fuck? I expect this kind of crazy from Sanen. We still love him, but, like, you I don't understand. But I don't, but here he was, offering me on a silver platter to whomever could use me best. Harada was irate, jumping to his feet out of indignation. He seethed at Hijikata's contempt, as if he were seconds from pointing a sword at his neck. I can't be complicit in this. I won't let you lay a finger on her. Hijikata, however, wasn't going to back down. Neither was willing to budge, their eyes radiating with ferocity. This battle of wills was unsettling to say the least, and for a moment, nothing could break the deadlock. Until... If all you're gonna do is pawn her off to the Fury Corps anyway, then I don't want any part of the Shinsengumi. I'm gonna take her, and we're gonna leave this place immediately. As commander of the Shinsengumi, I'm afraid I can't allow you to do that. Such an act would be considered treason, and you know how we punish traitors. What the hell? You're gonna fight me, that it? You? Ha! Bring it on then. No, Harada, you can't. I rushed up to stop Harada when... Stay back. I've got to settle this myself. Oh no, what should I do? I shuddered to think what they would do to Harada. Or even worse, what would become of the Shinsengumi? Hijikata offered a smug grin, his arms crossed tightly over his chest. But then again, pulling rank and file on one of my own captains might throw some of the newer Shinsengumi members into disarray. Normally I'd see to it you were punished, but just like Shinpachi, I think you deserve a little more than that. You remember how things with Ito turned out. If Kondo and Nagakura were unwilling to meet neutral ground and reach a consensus, then it was likely they would have no other choice but to let him leave the organization. At least, this was the impression that Hijikata was giving me. Wait, what are you talking about? Get me up to speed. I'm a little slow. You got something to say, then you better just say it outright. Since I've been around the compounds, Sonen's been keeping his shit to himself. But it's not like I've got the time nor the energy to keep an eye on him constantly. I think he's got something up his sleeve. And it's just a matter of time till he finds the right opportunity to use it. He might not seem like a threat right now, but if things keep heading downhill and our backs get pressed against the wall, I wouldn't put him past him to start fighting dirty. Fighting dirty? For instance, if he were to send the Fury Corps after you to abduct you, he might just as easily pin it on the demons or something. A shiver crawled down my spine at the thought. Hijikata raised a horrifying point. Asana hadn't cared one bit as to whether or not I would comply with his request. All he'd wanted to do was give me an opportunity to come quietly until he took matters into his own hands. Yeah, but Hijikata, you were just basically offering me to him, and now you're like, well, I mean... I don't get you. If at any moment the Shinsengumi felt their war with the Imperial Army reached a breaking point, then I'd no longer have a choice in the matter, and I would simply become a pawn to his intentions. So what Hijikata had been suggesting earlier was... Gotcha. So if there's any chance of protecting her, that means the two of us have to flee the Shinsengumi, huh? Man, you never cease to amaze me, Hijikata. You always go on about how you always put the Shinsengumi first, but then you go and give up the master plan. Your brown nosing's not going to get you anywhere with me. Anyway, take care of yourselves. Without another word, Hijikata nodded curtly and promptly exited the room. So is he basically just like saying that to like, because it was like, what the fuck, Hijikata? He was basically saying that to get Harada all riled up, like, what the fuck? I'm not gonna let you do that. And then he's like, okay, good. So, on that, what I'm gonna need you to do is like leave. Because that's what's gonna happen if you don't. So, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, peace out. Like, you could have just said that, Hijikata. You didn't have to be shady about it. Hijikata always kept his emotions close to the chest, never more apparent than in this moment. No one could ever call his pride for the Shinsengumi into question, as he undeniably poured all of his blood and soul into the group's survival. Which, to our surprise, wasn't the case this time, as he thought of me rather than his allies. That's because he loves us. Deep down inside, he doesn't know it. A familiar voice interrupted our stunned silence.
Fine then, I'm leaving. Tired of this bullshit. Enough dedicating my life to people that don't need me.
Nagakura stormed into the room, packing his things into a bag as he mouthed off angrily. It's funny, he's packing his things in a room that's not his. We're not in his room. I don't know. Nagakura...
You can't convince me to stay anymore. I'm never coming back. I hereby resign as captain of the Shinsengumi. The only person I follow is Shinpachi Nagakura.
Well, what a coincidence. Oh, we're leaving this place too. Looks like we'll be seeing more of each other for a while then.
What?
Suddenly Nagakura stopped stuffing things into his bag, and he blinked incredulously. What's the matter? I thought you were leaving. Or was all that pomp just for show right now?
No, of course it wasn't. It's just... Wait, what's going on here? Huh? Huh? When did you guys decide that you were going to leave too?
Well, kind of a funny story, right, Spacey? Right.
What's so right about it? Explain yourselves. I don't get it.
Harada and I glanced at each other with wide eyes, working to suppress the giggle under our breaths. Out of the three of us, only Nagakura hadn't been clued in. One day had passed, and it was evening. After spending the day setting our affairs, it was time for us to depart from the compounds. Aw. Well, Nagakura and Harada, sirs, and Miss Yukamura, best of luck to you all.
Hey, it's true that all of you were leaving.
I'm gonna miss each of you very much. I know, right? And now when you go out drinking, you can't foot the bill in Nagakora's drunk ass as you sneak out when he falls asleep. Yeah, totally.
Hey, wait a minute, Nomura. You've been doing that this whole time.
No, I was just agreeing with him to be funny. I haven't, I promise. Both of you take care, okay? Please send my regards to the rest of the men. Okay, and thank you for all the time we've spent together. As we made our way from the compounds, Soma and Nomura waved at us in the distance. Harada, what about Heisuke? I wrote him a letter and left it for him. Oh, we'll be in Edo later, so why don't you set some time aside to write him a letter yourself? I knew that, for the most part, a feeling of regret was unavoidable, but parting ways with people with whom we'd spent years together made my heart heavy at my chest. It's just as sad when you leave the Shinsengumi as when they left the Shinsengumi and you were left behind. I gazed into the dusky sky when we heard the sound of rapid footsteps approaching. Could it be... Oh! Come with us! It's like the Three Musketeers just are now the Two Musketeers. Oh, Heisuke. Heisuke!
Hey, you guys! What the hell? You thought that leaving a letter would be enough? Especially coming from Sano. Your handwriting's so messy that I couldn't read a single goddamn word.
Pfft, come on. Letters are perfectly suitable for saying goodbye. And just read it carefully.
Listen to what I'm saying, dumbass. I couldn't read it.
Heisuke, will you be alright?
From what? Why don't you come with us?
Heisuke tilted his head inquisitively, scratching his chin in contemplation for a moment.
Nah, I can't go. If I leave, it'll be harder for me to stop whatever Sanen's planning.
I see. It pained me to say goodbye to Heisuke, but that he wanted to remain with the Shinsengumi was commendable, and I had to respect that. Forcing him to come with us would have done him no good. Well, take care, Heisuke.
Yeah, later.
We exchanged our goodbyes, and we resumed walking down the length of the trail. As we approached a clearing... Don't go dying before me. Oh, they won't! That's so sad!
This game! Shinpachi! Sano! Watch yourselves! Don't go dying before me, understand?
They won't. They're gonna outlive you. Oh. Heisuke screamed from behind us. Harada and Nagakora had years on Heisuke, which made the thought of him dying before them a worrisome one. Oh, but he is. I shed a few tears thinking about it. Oh, Spacey, everybody dies. All your friends are dead. Our departure from the Shinsengumi left us without too many options for lodgings, and so we went to visit an old friend of Nagakora's for the time being. Alright, read 'em and weep. That's game. Sorry, Shinpachi. That's another win for me.
Yeah, damn it. Man, I lost again. Well, I'm just warming up. Everyone knows it doesn't mean anything unless you put money down. Come on, let's raise the stakes. If I win, I get to keep Spacey.
Wait, what the fuck? I'm not money. Wait, I'm money? Yay, I'm worth something! What the hell, man? If we start putting money down, then I might end up killing you. And knowing you, with money on the line, you'll pull out all the cheap tricks. A bell rang from outside a room, signifying that the sun had set and it was now evening. Oh, have the markets opened up yet? Oh, we should probably get going, right?
Oh yeah, let's go.
Hey, Spacey, we're gonna go out and grab a drink. Am I holding down the fort for us? Seriously? Fucking seriously? We just left the Shinsengumi. Ding, ding, ding. Sweet, let's go drink. Bars are open. And then you know, you promised to take me out and you never did. Oh. I stuttered in response. What's the matter? Harada's blunt expression caught me off guard, somewhat. Oh, nothing. Try not to drink too much, okay? I can't speak for Shinpachi, but you know me. I know when to say when.
What the hell? Are you forgetting who got so drunk that he tried picking a fight with a temple statue last time we went out?
That's awesome, and I want to see that. Have fun. Tried picking a fight with I need to see. This is why they need more prequel seasons of the Shinsengumi. That's what they really need. They really just need they need like fucking Hakuoki like anime season that is literally just has nothing to do with her or it's just all the normal weird daily things behind the war that we don't get to see. You know what I mean? Like, you see the Shinsengumi up and coming and stuff, and like all that. I just want to see this. I just want OVAs of just this shit. Like, just random fucking shit like this. Like, them just going out drinking and Harada trying to fight a fucking temple statue. That's just what I want. I just want a whole fucking, like, fucking season full of just the random bullshit like this. Just the little things that they normally cut out that are fucking hilarious and random. That's what I want. I just need that in my life. Harada and Nagakura skipped out of the room, exchanging banter back and forth as they eagerly anticipated a night of bar hopping. Ever since we left the Shinsengumi, our days moved at a pace that reminded me of our time spent in Kyoto. Harada and Nagakura were carefree, no longer encumbered with the responsibility imposed upon them as captains of the Shinsengumi. Although I harbored some worries about how everyone else had been doing at the compounds. Seeing as how readily both of them moved forward with their lives, it gave me encouragement to think that I had made the right decision in leaving. Except for you're just sitting at home doing nothing while they're out partying, drinking, and you're like, well, my life sucks. But I couldn't help but wonder if I had a role for myself in relation to how they chose to spend their time. Could I see myself living like this, often left behind when they went on drinking escapades for much longer? In spite of everything, Harada was the first person I could call upon to protect me, especially when it came to Sun and sneaky approaches. Harada always made time for our conversations, and together our lives had joy and laughter in spades. I could always trust him to treat me respectfully, which was far more than what I deserved. My days with them are numbered. By remaining with them, I opened myself up to the threat of Shiranui or Kazama kidnapping me. But you know what? You're like, I'm just gonna go to my house in Edo and live by myself. This was a chief concern of mine, knowing it could potentially put Harada and Nagakura at risk too. And more than anything, I couldn't shake the sight of Father pulling the strings of his Fury creations back in Kofu. Just what was Father planning on doing with this army? It seemed so out of odds with his character. I knew that without question, Harada would join me to put an end to my father's experiments if I were to ask, but this had nothing to do with Harada, nor was it his responsibility to involve himself in this conflict. He, by all standards, was a man, a human. Harada had the experience and technique to mount an initial challenge, but how could he fare against an army of them? What if Harada were to end up losing his life in the process? I shook my head, haunted by the passing thought, and wasn't sure if I could ever forgive myself for it. So she's gonna, like, fucking leave him. After a few hours. Huh. Huh. You want to head to Tomioka? Tomioka Hachiman Shrine? I heard Harada speaking outside. And then go down the street and take the third left all the way down the block. I was so giddy to see him that I rushed outside to welcome him home. But fate had something else planned. Oh. Oh, I see. So I should simply follow the directions on this map. And right here is the fish market. Thank you very much. Yeah, the layout of these streets is so wonky. If it's your first time here, getting lost is understandable. I eavesdropped on the tail end of their conversation, gathering that she had asked him for directions. But from where I was standing, it looked like the two of them were speaking playfully, veering on the side of flirtation. Harada was known for his charm, and it wouldn't have surprised me if she had been wooed simply by engaging in conversation with him. But watching him converse so casually with her, my heart sank like a stone into my stomach. I wondered why. Why had this ache constantly plagued me? Oh no. Oh no. I knew it. I knew he was going to be nice and escort her and we were going to cry about it. Hey, it's a little late for a lady to be walking out here by herself. Would you like me to escort you there? No, thank you. I have someone coming to meet me, and they should be here any minute now. I'll be just fine. Oh, well, thanks again. You were a great help. The woman bowed and thanked Harada repeatedly before finally walking off in the dimly lit street. After seeing her back vanish into the distance, Harada finally noticed me as he turned around. Oh, hey, Spacey, I'm home. Why the long face? It looks like you've seen a ghost. Oh, I was at a loss for words. Nothing. My eyes darted back and forth between Harada and the floor, and I could feel my cheeks tensing. Oh, look at him. He's like, oh, look at me. Look at his sly little face. Like, oh, are you jealous? That's cute. I love you too. Oh, was it that woman just now? She asked me for directions and I helped her out. Right, I know. I knew that's all it was, but why? The pace of my breathing quickened, and soon my feet felt like roots had ensnared the ground beneath me, trapping me from running away. Oh, well, if that's all, then let's hurry inside. It's getting pretty chilly out here. Uh, okay. At Harada's behest, the two of us re entered the warm abode. Hey, Spacey, I hate to be a bother, but would you mind making me some tea? Oh, okay. I did as instructed and slowly walked towards the kitchen in the other room. I stroked the fire underneath the kettle, and for some reason, the memory of the scene from just moments earlier hadn't left me. Why was I so eager to dwell on these things? Why, why had my heart become so fragile, shattered by every doubtful thought? The answer I knew was right in front of me. Unlike me, Harada was no demon. He was human, and he could live a reasonably normal life. Eventually, he would find a woman of his own kind to fall in love with. Together, they could bear a child and live a peaceful, quiet life in the solace of each other's company. Imagining such a future without myself anywhere in the picture was torturous, an ache for which there was no cure, and it was beginning to depress me. For Harada, I was sure, the future was full of bright possibilities, and his entire life was ahead of him. That is, as long as we were not together. I had to make it known to him. I couldn't bear the thought of Harada throwing his life away on my accord. Oh no. Harada, here's the tea you asked for. Oh, sorry for all the trouble. No worries, it's my pleasure. I handed a small cup of freshly brewed tea to Harada, which still had quite the amount of steam. However, he hesitated before putting his lips to the cup to drink from it. Um, is something wrong? Is it too hot? Oh no, I was just thinking about how quaint this is. Quaint? Yeah, it's nice to have someone I can come home to, especially after a night out. And then, look at this. She makes me tea, too. I guess this is what domesticality is all about. Domesticity? Domestic, like, but domesticity? Is that a word? I don't know. Anyway, all about, like with a wife and all. That's the dream, baby. Harada spoke so warmly, basking in the content of his cup of tea and comfortable lodgings. Basking in the content of his. Yeah, I don't know why. I just stuttered over that entire sentence like I can't read English. We know I can't read. For whatever reason, my heart felt heavy. If Harada actually were to find his wife sometime in the near future, would he ask her to make tea like he had me? That was what Harada truly wished for, but he had no business being in his way. Oh, what's the matter? You keep spacing out. Have you not been getting enough sleep or something? Oh, no, not at all. Say, what happened to Nagakura? Oh, he bumped into an old acquaintance back at the bar. He said he'd stick around for another round or two. I couldn't keep up with him, so I called it a night and came home. I see. Our conversation died off, and the only sound in the room was Harada softly slurping his tea. After taking one more large sip of tea, Harada eked quietly as he asked me a question. So, what's bothering you now? Huh? What do you mean? Oh, come on. There's no point in hiding it. Everything's written right on your face. You'd make a terrible spy. Since we've come here, I've noticed that you're getting more and more cheerful, but sometimes it's easy to get stuck in your own head, isn't it? Well, Harada was astute, enough to see that I had been lost in the swirl of my own thoughts, which stressed me greatly. For him to show concern over such a thing, the taste was bittersweet. Oh, what's the matter? Don't want to tell me? There's not much I can do if you don't trust me enough to say anything. It's not like that. It's just, um, I stopped myself from continuing because if I said it aloud, if it became real, then all it would do is deflate the mood, ruining the positive atmosphere we worked hard to maintain. But I knew that eventually I'd have to speak with him about it, so it was only a matter of time. Don't tell me you've fallen in love with someone. If that's the case, then you're right. I honestly don't want to hear about it. That's not it at all. Well, I couldn't bring myself to look Harada in the eye, but I spoke my piece knowing it needed to be done. You see, I've been thinking of leaving. Harada's eyes widened suddenly, and his expression became stern as he listened intently. He said, "Oh, we heard him. Look, he's angry." He took my claim very seriously, and he perked up to get to the bottom of why I may have felt in such a way. Why? Are you unhappy here or something? No, it's nothing like that. Are you annoyed with us? Is it because we left behind all of our friends at the Shinsengumi? Or because we go out drinking every night? I mean, that's kind of a pain in the ass. I mean, seriously, pay a little bit of attention to me once in a while. No. Thinking back on it now, Harada's entire reason for leaving the Shinsengumi was me. So where do you plan on going from here? Tell me that much at least. Well, I struggled to improvise an answer. Um, I was planning to visit some distant relatives of mine. That's so. And where do they live? Harada saw right through me, parsing through my nervous lie with the cunning of a hawk. Going through with this lie was biting off more than I was ready to chew. Just tell him the truth, Spacey. It'll get it all out in the open, and he'll admit that he loves you, and it'll be fine. He was pressuring me into coming clean, subjecting me to intense query. There's something that I need to take care of. Please try to understand where I'm coming from. The man whom I'd known for years to be my father was tunneling down a destructive path. Figuring out a way to stop him, let alone locate him, was proving to be an arduous task. Even so, I was losing him, and his wicked plans were becoming more realized with each day. It was selfish of me to ask Harada or Nagakura to partake in this journey with me to stop him. This time, there was no telling if any of us could make it back alive. An awkward silence fell between us. Harada looked downwards, tapping his toe anxiously on the floor until eventually... Spacey, do you seriously want to leave? How should I respond? Please understand. The last thing I want is to cause even more trouble for the two of you. Well, firstly, let's start with talking about what it is you need to do. And technically, I have the right to know. Well, you don't even have to say. I bet I could guess exactly what you're thinking. If I told Harada the truth, then it was likely that he would object, giving me no permission to leave. However, I was in no position to leave either way. I had no other choice but to come clean. It's because of my father. As soon as I mentioned the word father, Harada sighed as if he'd already expected the answer. I knew it. Figures. I had a feeling, given your personality, that it'd be hard for you to let Kodo go. But hearing you say it gives me even more reason to keep you here, safe and sound. Why? Just what do you expect to accomplish on your own out there, huh? Sure, your body might be able to heal itself a little quicker than other people, but that's all. And you've never killed anyone either. You'll be out there all by yourself, just waiting for the Furies to snatch you up. Do you honestly think I could just let you walk into that? Harada was right. I had neither the strength nor the willpower to take on the Legion of Furies, much less the demons. However, Harada and Nagakura weren't in much better of a position. I only put them in further danger every day. Why can't you just understand? My anger was seething, and I wanted to grab the sides of his head and shake my point into him. I don't want either of you to get involved. I can heal myself, which should be more than enough in case of emergency. The image of seeing Inoue being shredded apart by a flurry of bullets was still so clear in my mind. Yamazaki, too, was killed due to complications following the Battle of Toba Fushimi, contracting a high fever and passing away in his sleep. Bullets devastated the human body, and no manner of medicine nor hope existed to counteract them. It wasn't hard to imagine that such a fate could easily befall both Harada and Nagakura tomorrow. I dropped down on my knees and begged Harada, please, please just let me leave. I'd do anything to repay you. Please, just tell me you understand. Tears came flowing down my cheeks. Oh, he's still going to hold us. There's going to be a CG. My forehead pressed against the ground, and Harada muttered softly as he watched me writhe. Why are you so goddamn stubborn? Do you really think that I don't have what it takes to keep you safe? I know I'm not perfect, but I was a Shinsengumi captain, you know. Only you'd say something like that. No, it's not like that. I'm more than aware of what you're capable of, and you saved me so many times in the past. But it wasn't that I doubted him. It was that I was afraid for him. There were certain things we couldn't control, and being human had its limitations. It would be a fool's errand for him to put his life on the line, all for my sake. Say it out loud. No matter what you say, I've no intention of letting you go anywhere. Stop groveling. Crying won't get you anywhere. Look me in the eye. What should I do? Why was it such a challenge to express how I was feeling to Harada in a way that he could understand? I searched within myself, looking for some way to talk some sense into him. Soon I began to seethe with anger, teetering on the edge of resentment. Why? Why can't you just get it? You keep talking about the life that you want, don't you, Harada? Then why don't you just leave me alone? Please live the life you've always wished for. And don't let me keep holding you back. CG, just as the words left my mouth, yay, yay. Oh, oh, he's so adorable. He's like, oh, Spacey, you're stupid. Isn't it obvious? Oh, the woman I love might die. How the hell do you expect me to just shut up and let her go? Harada's arms were tightly wrapped around me, and I was suddenly enveloped by warmth. What was going on? Did Harada say what I think he said? You're right. I'm no demon. I'm just a man. But even so, I'm allowed to dream too. To have thoughts and feelings. To want the woman I love to survive more than anything else in life. His grip tightened. Suddenly, it almost became difficult to breathe while being held in his embrace. Oh! I pushed his chest back gently, fighting to get space. But it was futile, and in reality, I had been craving this contact for so long, to be wrapped up in his arms. All of my anxieties that I had so needlessly dwelt upon, melted away, as if I had the answer to my worries this entire time, but didn't know where to look. The woman you love, whom are you referring to? Harada blinked in surprise. He continued to hug me tightly as his light-hearted chuckle tickled my ear softly. All of this and you still don't get it. Jeez, how thick is that skull of yours? You're so busy thinking about everything else, how you miss the forest for the trees. What do you mean? Harada pursed his lips together, and he gave me a stern look before answering. You're the woman I love. I wouldn't leave my entire life behind just to protect someone else. It was always you. All this time, I had nurtured this crush, this dream in my heart for so long, hoping it would escape everyone's notice. But in reality, I resigned myself to the fact that it was never bound to happen. So I gave up. Why? I was vexed. Under any other circumstances, I would have been elated from what he was telling me, but instead, I was sobbing uncontrollably. At some point, resisting Harada's snug hold around me was no use, and I leaned closer against him. I mean, I'm a demon, though. I know I can pass for a human, but I'm not, no matter how hard I try. I'm a monster. I I don't have the option of living the same life as everyone else. Harada tenderly brushed his palm across my cheek, comforting me with delicate care. I told you in the past, whatever anyone else says doesn't matter. You're an ordinary woman. I don't give a damn how it sounds or what you might think. You're the one I want to marry. I want to spend the rest of my life with. Oh my god, this is so cute, I'm gonna die. Or are you starting to have second thoughts? And now I gotta do some convincing. Somehow every word Harada said had me utterly entranced, and I felt deeper and deeper for him. My heart fluttered in my chest. I realized suddenly that this was the assurance I'd needed all along. So it's okay for me to want this? To say that I want to become your wife and live the life of an ordinary human woman? I've been fighting these feelings for so long, but it was useless. You are all I think about. My enamored thoughts rose to the surface, coming to life after being suppressed for ages. We've known each other for quite some time, but never once have you ever said anything about it, have you? If you live each day in spite of yourself, refusing to accept what you truly want, and it's only natural for you to lose touch with who you really are. Come on, tell me, what do you want, kid? How do you want to live your life? Something that for so long I thought only existed in my dreams was coming to fruition. His words touched my soul, and taking my fantasy and allowing me to run with it to my heart's content. I think it's a lot to ask for. I was blubbering as I spoke, tears dripping into my mouth as I tried speaking up. Only with the strength of his amber eyes could I compose myself to say what my heart desired most. I I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Through puffy eyes, I told him the truth, and unloading this burden off of my chest made me the happiest I've felt in my entire life. This catharsis was all consuming, however, and it seemed every tear in my body left my eyes. An endless waterfall of tears came streaming down my face, almost to an exhausting degree. My eyes began to sting as I wiped them. I became embarrassed thinking about how much of a mess I had surely looked, but Harada gazed at me lovingly, holding me dear against his chest as I poured my soul out to him. Sorry, it's taken me a while to come around and tell you how I feel. Words aren't my strongest suit. But for me to assume that you'd know, without even telling you, is as egotistical as it gets. Now, this is more than perfect. Hearing you confess your honest feelings to me was more than I could have ever asked for. Harada stroked my hair softly with his coarse hands. His palm was covered in calluses, perhaps as a result of training for so many years with his spear. Even if they were rough to the touch, he had such a gentle way with his hands. I felt safe in his embrace. As far as Kodo's concerned, that's not something we can get to immediately. I have a duty to uphold to both to Shinpachi and those who have generously given us a place to stay. So, if you can bear with me, would you mind letting me handle it? I nodded quietly. Dedicating my life to him meant believing in him, even when my anxiety otherwise got the best of me. Oh, I love this. This path is great too. But I promise you, no matter what, that your name is safe in my mouth. Stick close to me, got it? Your name is safe in my mouth. That sounds so bizarre. Okay, I will. Yay! March 1868. Soon after Harada shared this intimate moment, we learned that Nagakura's friend Haga was forming a group known as the Sekio Corps. Why did I read this corpse? Corps. Spacey's not smart. I was struggling really hard to Sekio read that, and anyway. Yoshimichi Haga, a ronin for the Matsumai domain. He's a childhood friend of Nagakura's, and he also studied with the same dojo. Sekio Corps, a squad of nearly 100 men comprised of ronin, retainers, and shogunate infantrymen that was led by Gido Haga. Nagakura and Harada are its assistant commanders. Okay. And both Nagakura and Harada were offered to serve within its ranks as commanders. Although barely any time had passed since they said farewell to all of their closest comrades, Harada and Nagakura were working to carve a new life for themselves, forging a path that was more closely aligned with their morals and beliefs.
Some bars are opening up soon. Maybe I'll head to Haga's. You're coming along too, of course, right, Sano?
Now, past this time, I'm not really in the mood to get pissed drunk, and the last thing I want to do is get in the middle of you talking to your friend.
Sano, you've been a real wet blanket lately. What? Find yourself a woman or something?
And I'm just sitting here like... Yeah, Nagakura's question was innocuous, but I couldn't help but cower nervously from off to the side. I reached my hand over to my chest where I felt my heart pound restlessly, and I blushed. Harada, on the other hand, snuck a playful glance in my direction before answering Nagakura. And Nagakura's looking at him and he's like,
oh.
Yeah, in fact, I found myself quite the lady. Harada was beaming as he answered with pride. That's adorable. He's like, what? No, he's like, yes! Yes, I did! Proud of me.
What? Hey, I was just teasing you, but it was true. Who is it?
I don't know.
Come on, you don't get to hide it, man. I get it now. You've been hitting the red light district behind my back, haven't you? Or have you been going around wooing every girl in the neighborhood? Goddamn! You pretty boys get all the girls.
Yeah, because he is pretty. He really is, isn't he? Shinpachi, allow me to enlighten you as to why you're terrible with women. It's because you're completely oblivious to how you affect others. Take, for instance, the fact that even if they seem creeped out, you don't shut your mouth.
What? What are you trying to say, bub?
Pfft, you'll never learn, will you? Man, whatever. Look, man, I'm staying in tonight, so go out and drink two for me. And make sure you don't do anything too stupid.
Okay then. Guess I'll be on my way. Probably gonna be gone till morning, so don't wait up for me.
Oh, we won't. We won't. Oh. Oh, wait. Are we? Can we? He's gone. Rolling the sheets? I'm just saying. Nakakura slipped out of the room merrily, whistling as he anticipated the full evening of shenanigans ahead of him. Oh. I'm guessing he didn't catch on. Being that ignorant is a talent, I tell ya. I mean, sheesh! You were practically huddled in a corner over there. Yeah. Harada mentioned it so nonchalantly, but earlier, when he'd called me quite the lady, I couldn't help but blush, and I instinctively looked away in order to deflect attention from myself, which makes it more obvious. Hey, Spacey, why are your cheeks so red? Because it's obvious, isn't it? I mean, after everything you just said. Everything I just said. Oh, you meant how I think you're quite the lady? That was just me being honest. I know that, but hearing it said right in front of me is something that I'm unfamiliar with. I can't help being shy. Ah! I love his CGs. They're so fucking great. Suddenly, I felt Harada's thick arms wrap themselves around my narrow shoulders. He's so fucking beautiful, Jesus. Uh-huh. Do you still feel shy around me? Harada's face was nestled in my neck. As he drew me in closer, his breath tickled me from my ear down the length of my spine, and his whisper coaxed me into a soothing trance. My cheeks, like moments before, flared up. He is so fucking beautiful. He's like 4 feet taller than her. It's adorable. Huh? And the way you reacted to my compliments. You said that you couldn't help feeling shy. Is that all you feel? Harada beguiled me with his cool, seductive voice, and I gasped as the feeling of his mouth meeting my ear made me shiver in his strong arms. Damn. I only suggested the roll in the sheets. I didn't know if we were actually going to go there, but I'm just concerned now. Oh, damn, Harada. Jesus. My face became more and more red as I found myself captivated by his mere presence. I know, right? If I were to gaze in a mirror, I was sure that my cheeks were blushing more than they ever had been, or ever had before. If you don't answer me, then I'm going to trap you here forever. Is that what you want? Yes. I mean, being completely honest here, that doesn't sound too bad to me. Harada smiled impishly as his arms tightened forcefully around my fragile body. I leaned against his chest, feeling his heart pound against the small of my back, and suddenly I was wholly taken by this unknown sensation. So too did my heart begin to pound furiously. All of this was so foreign to me. Why had I felt so hot all of a sudden? But also natural, as if giving voice to instincts of which I had been unaware. She's like, how am I? Oh, girl, it's the lust. I began to shrink into myself, and I answered Harada timidly, keeping my gaze fixed to the tatami below. It made me so happy. Happier than you could imagine. Harada chuckled smugly, patting the top of my head lightly with his hand. Okay, don't do that now. Now I just think you think I'm a kid. Oh. Want to step outside with me for a bit? It's a little too early for us to sleep. He finally loosened his hold of me. Can we dress me like a girl now that I'm not hiding in the Shinsengumi? He'd be like, here, dress like a girl. Although the sun had just set, because this way he could treat me like a girl. I'm not saying that he's like, dress like a girl, I don't want to be seen with a dude. It's just like, you can take me out on a date if I dress like a girl, and then I can feel like a girl, and I can, yay, feel like a princess. Just let me fucking feel like a princess. Although the sun had just set, many of the shops had closed early, and only a few stragglers wandered nearby. The streets were conspicuously quiet, and making me a little nervous as Harada and I walked together. Ito's citizens were, understandably, concerned with the impending war with the Imperial Army, which led to many choosing to shut in for safety's sake. Man, I always thought spring was warmer, no? Kinda chilly out here tonight. You're right, it may have been better for us to wear our coats out tonight. Harada suddenly stuck his arm out to me, grinning suggestively as he offered me his hand. Give me your hand, eh? I'll hold on to it, and that way it'll warm you right up. What? No, it's okay. Take his hand, Spacey! But I want to hold your hand. Come on. Oh. Without waiting for my answer, Harada grabbed a hold of my hand abruptly, clasping it tight. Harada's Western attire was strange enough to attract the stares of any passers-by, but for us to hold each other's hands so boldly in the street was another statement entirely, especially if you're dressed like a guy and everybody thinks you're a dude. That's probably a little bit like, wait. They're like, look at his uniform, and he's holding hands with that boy. Wait, huh? Like, every now and then, some of the pedestrians we passed glanced at us peculiarly. Harada, however, seemed completely unbothered, wearing a smile from ear to ear as we walked. From the corner of my eye, I saw Mother walking with her child in our direction out of a bathhouse. Harada gazed kindly at the small child, whose tiny hand was wrapped precociously around his mother's finger as he bounced up and down. Oh, now he's thinking about babies. No, I don't want babies, but it's cute that you do. Hey, Spacey, do you like children? No. Huh? Why, yes, I like children quite a bit. I mean, according in this time, you really didn't have much of a choice aside from not having sex. So, once you get a roll in the hay, you're bound to get pregnant. I'm just saying. But, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. How good was birth control back then? Was there any? I don't know. I don't know I don't know the history of birth control, okay? Like, that's just not something that I feel the need to know. But, so, if you and I were to have children, would you rather have a boy or a girl? Oh my god, damn. You move fast. I like it. His question completely blindsided me, Harada proving once more that he had mastered the art of making me blush. Although we had finally confided in one another about our true feelings, hearing him address our relationship so bluntly was an adjustment, one I had been bashfully learning how to navigate. See, but that's the cute thing about, like, ye olde days. You were like, look, I like you. You like me? We're gonna get married? Okay, let's go. Like, I mean, it took 4 years to get to this point, so I guess I really shouldn't say anything. But it was like, once the confession happened, it's like, now we're gonna fucking get married and let's talk about babies. It's like in like a week period of time. Like, okay, shit, that was fast. It just took the 4 years. The 4 years up to the confession that's a little bit too long. But, you know, I mean, Jesus. It was like, look, we're gonna die. So, we're gonna do this? Okay. Like, first of all, it's wartime. Second of all, back in the day, we're not gonna live much longer. We'll be lucky if we live to 40. Yeah, unless you live in Japan, then they have the Fountain of Youth and you just fucking live forever, because, Jesus. Seriously. I'm just saying. It's true. You know it. Anyway. I'd want a boy. Oh, yeah? Well, I heard having a daughter's a little easier, at least at first. Well, if we end up having a baby girl, it won't matter how much love we give her, since she'll be swept away by another man eventually, huh? Maybe a boy'd be better after all. Right? My reasons for wanting a son were a little different from what Harada had been suggesting. But even so, it warmed my heart that we could openly discuss our future and, more importantly, that Harada valued my say in the matter. What? Like, okay, you don't really actually have a say. It's just what you get, okay? It's like Russian roulette. You're like, let's see, it's gonna be, oh, whatever. It's a boy or a girl, pick one. Like, you don't get to choose. Well, I think we should have a girl. Well, I think we should have a boy. Oh, well, I win. Nobody, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? But it's funny, he takes my opinion into the matter. Neither one of your opinions matter in the course of nature. Just saying. I took solace in how beautiful this moment felt. I'm a little afraid of this moment because this just scares me. This is the first time anyone's talked about babies, and there's going to be a baby, isn't there? And I don't want that. So, when the war finally ends, where would you like to settle down, Harada? Even though I love him and I adore him, I still don't want babies. And do you think you'd want to return to the village where you grew up? Iyo no Kuni, Harada's town of origin, it later became known as the Aichi Prefecture. Nah, I had plenty of great memories there, but a ton of stuff I'd like to forget too. So instead of returning to Iyo, I think I'd like to find a nice quiet place beside the ocean. One where I can see the horizon from my window. I think he actually does. Doesn't he go to off some island, or was that Nagakura? Like, I can't remember in Saito's route. One went one where? The horizon. Harada tilted his head toward the darkening sky, speaking placidly as he gazed upward. When we left the Shinsengumi, it really got me thinking. I don't think I could ever do what Hijikata does. Having so many people depend on me like they do him, living like that would kill me. All I want is a home to call my own, or all I need is my 2 hands to protect the ones I love. I'm tired of fighting for other people who like using soldiers to further their ideology, or create some sort of personal utopia. A grand personal utopia. Sorry. I like to believe the world's a lot simpler than that. There isn't much that I feel I need, you know? Just the ones I love and the blood I bleed. Harada. But even so, if you'd rather live somewhere else, And then we can put it into consideration, of course. Harada's answer was totally unexpected. What could I even say in response? What a beautiful dream. I agree with you. Living somewhere in isolation with Harada, away from the petty conflicts waged between the shogunate and the imperial army, seems so appealing. I think he was the one that goes off to some random island. It was all I could ask for, really. I forget where they said, but he was the one who went off to someplace else. He, pieced out and left. Gotcha. So if that's what you want, and that's what I want, then we're set. I don't think we could be any more perfect for one another. Oh my god, you're so beautiful. In the future, we won't have anything to worry about. And we'll have our ocean view in each other. Harada and I clasp our hands tightly around one another, locking our fingers together. Okay. I nodded resolutely. Although much of what we were discussing was easier said than done, especially given the social climate, placing my faith in Harada was the easiest part of it all. Some time ago, Harada sheepishly described to me what he considered to be his ideal life. A life with a family, spent with the woman that he loves, with whom he could raise a family in comfort. By spending the rest of my life with him, I was committing myself to making his dream a reality. As the constellations above us dazzled brilliantly, I whispered a silent promise made to myself. No. April 1868. But we're going to end this part here because we're about at time. We're a little under, but I don't want to go over too much. So, and I don't know how long this will be. This could be like a quick part. It could be like 2 minutes. It could be 5 minutes. It could be like an hour. I don't know. So, it's not going to be an hour, but you know what I mean. It could be 2 minutes. It could be 20. So, I'm going to wrap this part up here. I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.